Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everyone. This is me, Jonathan Alexander, and I'm here to host our show, Live Laughter Happiness. Today, I have my co-host, Kelly. Are you there, Kelly?
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
And I have
Hey.
my other co-host,
Hi.
Barbara. Are you there, Barbara?
Yes, I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hi,
And
guys.
today, we have a special guest, Karen Page. Are you there, Karen?
Here I am.
Hi.
How's
today-
everybody?
Ray.
What we're going to be talking about is holidays and depression, and season affective disorder. It's interesting. I was thinking about the subject. Now it affects me, and it's funny because I think that the holidays, everybody expects everybody to be happy, but then the holidays comes like, because everybody you think to yourself, well, I'm having a miserable time or something. I mean, does everybody sort of experience that?
I have.
I think that it is very common, and I think what it triggers is all the people that we have loved and are gone, or the things that we can, and especially now, the things that we cannot fix in the world by ourselves.
Yeah.
And the Christmas is a very difficult time, the end of the year for a lot of people. But the truth is, it doesn't, I don't mean this in the obvious way, it's not permanent. Are there elements of it that are? Yes. However, when you think of the memories that you made around that time with the people that you love that are gone, or the family that you can't get to see right at that time, those are the things that we really hold on to and what brings us peace of mind. And if we let ourselves step into that, it's something that can really help with the sadness. My mother passed away 2 days before Christmas, and one of my closest friends for more than half of our lives was born on Christmas, and he is gone now 25 years. And you know what, sweetheart? I'm the lucky one that I had both of them in my life. And I think about all the times that my friend William and I laughed, and how I would always make sure he had his Christmas presents and his birthday presents, and that it wasn't just all lumped together. And how when I came back from Brazil, I brought Christmas ornaments of a red crystal Star of David for my mother. and kosher pickle ornaments. I mean, because she grew up Orthodox in Brooklyn and lived in a great big universal world. Oh no, I bought those in Germany. I bought those in Munich, not in Brazil. And it's like, and every time I look at them now, I think of the laughter and how, I mean, a red crystal Star of David Christmas ornament. Am I the one that gets how funny that is?
Wow.
And I think to myself, I would not trade that minute for anything.
Yeah.
And it is at the end of the day, what we have are beautiful memories. Every time I see a beautiful decoration or the effort people have put into their homes, I think, wow, because that isn't for them, that's for us to enjoy.
Yeah.
And all the fun and sharing silly stories that we've all experienced, because people behave in an interesting, isn't that a good word, way around the holidays. I mean,
Yeah. You know what? Some people lose their parents. There was a football player that actually he was an adult, and on Thanksgiving he had a drug overdose because he was so sad. He just took something too much. He was so sad because his father was an NFL football player. I was trying to look it up. I forgot the name of the guy, but his father, after he was his hero, and after a game, he was driving home and got killed in a car accident. And his little son, who was always in the stands cheering his hero dad on, he could not get over it years later. He could never get over it. And Thanksgiving was the hardest day for him. And he just passed away this last Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to find, I think it was Lenny, the last name. Maybe Johnny can look it up. Because I don't
that's
like last
very
names right
sad.
now. It's so
That's very sad.
Yeah.
It's
So
for
that's
that
going
rather than because that's such. I'm sure that his father loved that time of the year to share with his son,
Right.
and for it to turn into another tragedy is heartbreaking to me. Rather than his son being able to translate that into sharing the joy that his father had with him, even if it was for a short time in his life, to with other children or other people to share that joy, and rather than turning it into a tragedy.
Horrible. And he did tweet. That's the reason why. You were right about that. He tweeted out that day that this was my dad's favorite day, Thanksgiving. And he wrote, "I just can't get past the why."
You know what? I've said this to you guys 184 times over the shows, that I always believe God sends gives a ticket to one of his angels and says, "Go get this one. It's their time. I need to talk to him." And it is I believe that we have them as long as they are supposed to be here. And that knowing, it saddens my heart that knowing that was his father's favorite holiday, that he would not give himself permission to honor his father's memory in a happier way, in a more joyful way. Keep that going.
That just caused so much more tragedy for the other family members, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm so sure. Talk about compounding it. Where do you even put? There's no place to put that. It's not something that, and the truth is, we're not meant to let one experience define our lives. I think that the reason that we all go through the good, the bad, and the ugly is to learn from them and to grow from them. And yes, the holidays can bring up sad memories, but I want to remember the happy times and the laughter I had with my mother and my friend William. I don't want it to all be a tragedy. And that has helped me not be heartbroken every holiday season.
It's such a good way to look at it.
It's true. It's like we're so blessed that they were in our lives for however long it was. And to continue feeding the grief becomes a choice. And you guys know, I'm the last living member of my family. But you know what? I thank God every day for the memories I have. I wouldn't trade a minute of it. When my uncle, God rest his soul, showed up at our front door and I answered the door and he said, "Karen, I said, yep. He looked at me and said, you always were the pick of the litter. You know, and I had not seen him since I was a little girl. And we were as close as two fingers, and he lived in Oklahoma City.
Aww.
And it's like, you know what? I would rather remember the time that I went to visit them rather than how he died. I don't want to think about that. That didn't define him. It's more important to me how he lived, who he was, you know? And I'm sure that everybody, all four of us, have lost people. And it's, what are the beautiful things that you remember? Those moments.
Yeah.
You know?
So those are good things for people to think, like try to see it in a different perspective, like you just explained, to just ease the pain.
Well, yeah, because it is, that is like reliving it over and over and over again. And I don't believe, that's just my opinion, but I don't believe that is the intention of it. We're all here for about a minute and a half, you know, and it's in that minute and a half that we're here on Earth and our souls are here. What are we doing here? It's not here to wreak havoc. Some people it is, that's their job, but unfortunately they're going to have to come back here and keep doing it over again until they learn the lesson. But the majority of people, I would hope that we're here to learn and to grow, and that means from the good, the bad, and the ugly. And at the holidays, we can make a choice of how we want to, do we want to continue, bring those losses into another new year? Or can we use that period to make peace with it and learn how to integrate that loss or those losses into our everyday lives? Yeah. And it's learning that there, you know, I've never had a day alone in my life, and when I made peace with the grief of the loss of my mother, and we were as close as two fingers on a hand, she visits all the time. She did some really funny stuff in my house that scared the pants off my ex-husband.
I know, I love that story.
You know, turning the dishwasher on and all that stuff, and it just, I mean, she had this amazing sense of humor, and I would rather share who she was in this life than how she left.
Yes.
Yeah.
My friend William, his parents wouldn't come in the hospital room when he was dying. And I would climb in the bed and hold him in my arms because all he wanted to do was be held.
Oh.
And
wow,
I would he was a joy of my life.
Okay. But, you know, I want to say something. You were talking about the way people lived other than the way that it's interesting. I don't know if you have any friends that are Mormon or the Mormon faith.
Yes, I do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Well, my ex-girlfriend was, and I don't know if you know this or not, Kelly, but Mormons will never wear crosses, hardly ever wear crosses. Did you know that?
Oh.
Yeah, that you mentioned it. I think that sounds right. That makes sense. I can't ever recall. Yeah.
You
that
know
makes
why?
sense, Jonathan. No, I was just going to ask you that. Why?
Okay. Well, it's like what they teach is Jesus' teachings is life. Not that they don't put value on the sacrifice that he made, but it's life. It's his teaching. So this is why you'll never really see a Mormon wear a cross because their teaching is on his life.
They're about his life. Yes?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
It's kind of, you're always thinking about how you would rather be associated with, his life than how the person died. That's the same reason
how
why
they
Mormons
live.
people wear crosses.
Ah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. That is.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
How cool to learn something new.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Shawnee knows a lot about stuff like that. Always
Isn't
has
that the
interesting
truth?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, I don't want to change the subject real quick, but did you see that full moon out there, Karen?
Isn't that gorgeous?
Oh, yeah. Yesterday we had
Yep.
a beautiful sunset and this full moon.
Tonight and tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
How is
Yep.
that affecting us as people when the moon is full like that?
Me too.
Oh, isn't that a good time to do manifesting?
Absolutely. And this one's really powerful.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this one's really powerful. Yep.
Why is this
interesting.
one really powerful?
Well, it actually is on 12/12. Okay, which is tomorrow, and it is impacts 5 of the planets, major planets.
Wow.
And yes, so it is pretty darn powerful, and it's the last full moon of the year.
Oh. I'm glad I just
So-
saw that then.
Yeah. So there's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of reasons.
Wow. Yeah.
Everybody, we have a caller.
Yay.
Sure, yay.
All right. And it's a returning caller.
Whoa.
You remember last night? Hello,
Yeah, which one?
everybody.
Nathaniel?
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
Nathaniel? Oh, yay.
Yeah, we got cut off last night. The show ended.
Yeah, and
know.
we were trying to hunt you down. We didn't know where to find you.
I kind of felt it.
Yeah, it was like, there you are. Where the heck have you been?
Oh.
What happened? Did you need to go get a cup of coffee?
No, I think what happens I think at 6:30 when the show ends, if it's a certain plan, the line just goes dead.
Well, that's not good.
Whoa.
When
Didn't they
your
know?
show ends.
They know you had finally called in.
It's that Madeline. It's that Madeline over at Blog Talk.
I'm telling you, we're gonna have to have a conversation with them. Well, you were talking about some things last night that were so fascinating.
Yeah.
And I would imagine this time of the year there would be some very interesting elements in the things that you know about numbers and the time of the year and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, gosh, I guess 2020 is going to be a bigger, different year. This is the last full moon tomorrow.
Yep.
Or actually, only in about
12/12.
another 7 hours or a little less
Yes,
than 7
sir.
hours.
Yes, sir.
So this will be the last full moon of the decade, and we're going to be moving on for.
We can all do the happy dance, Nathaniel.
Yeah. I guess it's
No.
going to be 2020. Double your pleasure, double your fun.
Isn't that the truth? And it's funny because doesn't the whole energy of 2020 feel completely different than this year has been, where, as I always say, planets have been in the sign of poo-poo? I mean, it's amazing.
Well, in the Chinese, we start the whole Chinese zodiac again because it's going to be the year of the rat, and the rat is the first one that starts the cycle. Because
Yep.
and it all started when Buddha, had to cross the river, and he had a hard time, and then he crossed the river by the time a man could reach his outstretched arm or something like that. So
That's astonishing.
he had all the animals race across the river.
I love it.
And the rat and the cat were the two worst swimmers. So they petitioned the ox to ride on its back.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'll tell you the whole story. And
I
the
was
rat
born in the year of the rat.
The rat?
Are you born the year of the rat, Jonathan?
No.
1972.
Yeah. Oh, well, he's the water rat in its own element. So the rat came in first. The rat actually jumped off the ox's back and ran and took first place, and they gave him first place. And then the ox came in, and the tiger came in, and then the rabbit came in. It wasn't the cat, but the dragon came in next, and it said, "Well, you could fly. Why did you were here first?" And
That's
they
funny.
said, "Well,
I'm a water dragon.
Oh, so I know that year, okay. And then so the dragon came in, and they awarded him fifth place. And then the snake showed up on the horse's back. And so the snake got it, and then the horse got it, and the rooster found a raft for the monkey and sheep. So the sheep came in, and the monkey, and then the rooster came in, and then the dog came in, and they said, "Well, you were one of the favorite swimmers to win the race. What happened?" And they said, "Well, you got caught up in play. The dogs love to play so much, so they messed around and started playing, and then the boar came in last." And
I love it.
That's how they all got it, and all the 5 different elements go through. So you have the metal that goes like in 0 and 1 year. So next year, so the element now is earth. So like all the 8 and 9s, any 8 and 9 of any year, I mean, if it's 68, 58, 19, 48, 13, 48, that's all the earth, and the 8s and 9s are earth, and then the 0s and 1s are metal, and then the 2s and 3s are water of anyone, and then the 4s and 5s are wood, and then the 6s and 7s are fire. And then we already said that the 8 and 9s are. So it goes through the 5 different elements of the sign. So you got.
What are you, Nathaniel?
I'm a fire rooster with a dragon accent. So I
Woohoo!
have.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that accent.
Everyone has an accent, so you have to tell me what time you were born to figure out your accent.
Now, what does it mean if you're a fire dragon?
Well, that would be 1976 or 1916, or you could go back like 300 years since, like it was 1976. So 1676 was the year of the Fire Dragon 2 and 5 grand cycles of 60 years. So that'd be 300 years. So I got like Moses figured out, and everybody. So I mean, so you could figure out, anybody back in time, So like the U.S. was born under the fire monkey sign, 1776. So that was the fire monkey.
Wow.
We all
I
have,
love it.
So,
Yep, and now
so,
we're behaving like one, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, the United States was also born under the July 4th, which is the day of the group representative. So we're always trying to represent, well, maybe not now, now we're but we're always trying to be the group representative of the world.
Oh, isn't that the truth?
Isn't it? It's so funny,
Yeah.
That is.
Interesting.
That is, yeah. Chinese astrology I love it. I love all kinds of astrology.
It goes by
there's so
a
many
year,
different
but what
things.
else does it go by? because you guys all say you're a fire this, fire that. I'm a monkey, but I didn't ever hear about the fire or the water part of it. How do you find out
isn't it
more?
4 elements?
Those are there's actually 5 elements, and the
5
elements are earth, wood, and they go like because earth, anyways, earth, wood, metal, and fire and water.
Yeah.
Wood and metal. Yeah, so it's wood and metal. So there's the 5 elements, and it goes yin and yang every year. So it stays in like last year, people like Madonna and Michael Jackson and Prince. They were all born in the year of the Earth dog, which would have been 1958. Which the dog is opposed to the dragons. Each sign has its opposite as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So it was the dog and the boar. So those are like yin and yang signs. So it's the earth dog and then the earth boar. Now we're going to go to the metal rat and then the metal ox. And then it'll go back again to the water tiger and the water rabbit. So every 2 years it changes elements. So that's like different. So it's really going to be different. So if like if you're a fire sign, see the earth goes down so that it's actually a constructive element, but it controls it. So like a fire, it has to go into the sky, and then it goes back out to the earth. So these how the elements work in Chinese.
Oh, interesting.
Like the wood and metal, that's a destructive. So the metal chops down the wood, and then like the water, that's a destructive element. So the water and fire, the water puts out the fire, but a fire in a wood element, the fire will burn the wood. So everyone has a different, and then you choose your accent sign, and then your astrological sign as well, and then you mix them up, and that's actually the same as Chinese medicine. So they use they use the meridians in Chinese medicine. So they figure out if you're earth, blah blah blah. Well, so since you're a water dragon and you're a Libra, that's metal. And then your accent is blah, 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 so that's going to be an element.
Yeah, I have a Taurus ascendant. I was born at 8:05 in the evening.
Okay, well, you have a dog accent, so that'll be a nether metal. And actually, that's like Libra, because Libra would be the sign of the dog, because Aries is the dragon. So the Aries, they actually have American signs for the Chinese signs.
That's hilarious. I must really, and I've got a boatload of Libra in my chart, and I have a Venus ruled descendant. It's kind of like, so there's another doggy.
Yeah.
Wow.
No wonder I want to be. No wonder I like people and have lots of friends.
Yeah, well, Libra is the opposite Aries. Aries is all about the South, and then opposite side Libra is all about like marriage, human relations, and Libra is the manager, so he likes to work with people.
I love working with people.
Yeah.
I think you can learn so much. It's like you are so knowledgeable about a whole bunch of things. I know Western astrology, and I've probably met 150 or 200 astrologers all over the world. But Chinese astrology is fascinating.
Yeah, so Buddha was the man. People say, well, I like Jesus, which I like Jesus, but Buddha was obviously a prophet. People would say, well, Buddha's going to go to hell, or people are messed up. People are going to be messed up. So Buddha was obviously a prophet to where he was able to instill this in humanity, by doing that. So they gave him.
My father.
That's pretty.
Is a Buddhist, and my father's a Buddhist, and I've actually talked to him about it. He says, "Well, so why do you like Buddhism so much?" And he said, "Well, Buddhism, it's not about He said it's not about you got to believe this or you're gonna burn. Dad and I, it's sort of like when it comes to the paranormal, Dad is sort of 50-50. I mean, he hasn't ever shown any interest in talking to psychics, but then at the same time, he's seen things that skeptics do to try to disprove psychics, and he goes, "Oh, that's ridiculous. You can't do it that way." So it's sort of
Jonathan,
he's sort of
my ex also was Buddhist. And when we first met, he came to me on a bet with a friend of his to prove there was no such thing as psychics. And many years later, he was asked, "What did she say to convince you?" And he said, "Karen would never try to say something to convince anybody. If what I've seen over the years that she's done and predicted, I would be an idiot not to believe that there are psychics." I mean, and I went, "Isn't that nice?" You know? So we used to have long conversations about Buddhism.
Yeah.
I didn't know your father was a Buddhist, Jonathan.
very big. He meditates every day.
So do I.
You know, he sits there and he'll like I'll come downstairs and I'll see him on the couch and there's headphones and he's just doing that. And he's very and it was interesting. I think it was when I first told him about Kelly, the Chakra Cleanse. Apparently, because before Kelly became the co-host, she was known as the Chakra Girl. And they would say, "Oh, are you getting your chakras done tonight with the Chakra Girl?" Yes, the Chakra Girl. Yes. And it was, I mean, and then I guess what happened was that Kelly got promoted and history. But
and Nathaniel, I have to tell you, it was a job she didn't know she was applying for either. She got promoted.
That's right.
And it was like happy
right,
for
Kelly?
everybody.
Wow. Yeah, well, I also study that the personology for each day, so it's kind of
I
interesting.
know, that's so amazing.
Yeah, I've seen the book. Yeah, it says that I'm born on the day of the Trailblazer. May 28th is the day of the Trailblazer, and February 29th is the day of eternity.
Yeah, right.
May 20th, February 29th
to
is the day of
see. I don't know if you noticed that Muhammad Ali is born the day of the heavyweight.
One of the nicest men I've ever known. He was absolutely lovely.
And like Babe Ruth was born the day of the curveballer.
Wow.
Isn't that? Are you kidding? How funny is that?
And the Korean leader, the Rocket Man.
Oh yeah.
He's born the day of the Big Bang.
Oh no! And what day is Creepy Cheeto born?
Which guy? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Creepy.
Washington.
Oh, Washington. He's born the day of Universality, February 22nd.
Oh no, honey! I'm talking about Creepy Cheeto in the White House now.
Donald Trump.
Oh, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Donald Trump is born the day of the Gusty confrontation.
Wow, who would have known?
Yeah.
It's not if his lips. He's not born the day of if his lips are moving. He's lying on that day.
Is this the personality?
Yeah,
is this
born
the
on
secret
June
language
14th
of birthdays? Is this the secret language of birthdays book that you're talking about?
Yes. You can look it all up. Jimi Hendrix was born the day of...
Yes, I have that book.
That
he's born the day of
fascinating.
electrifying. Yeah.
I'm sorry. What did you say,
my
Nathaniel?
Book, in my book at home.
Jonathan, hold on 1 second, honey.
Jimi Hendrix is born the day of electrifying excitement. I saw him play acoustic guitar, and it was pretty boring.
Yep.
And,
Isn't that amazing?
Everybody's got a day. So Napoleon was born the day of royal command.
And he wasn't kidding.
Yeah. He's also born the year of...
He took that literally.
What I was going to say is I have that book, and what I used to do is I used to put people's names in the book. Like I would put my sister here, then I would put my sister was born July 23rd, which is other sister was born March 20th, and then my other sister was born October 25th. And I would put them all down there, and it's something that I did. But I haven't had a chance to put Kelly, Barbara, and but it was just really weird. And
God, not her again.
I talk so fast I don't get the names out. But I think it's just that, I don't know. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger's July 30th. I know that I should have said birthday as Patch Adams, Rudy Giuliani, Mark Rubio. I share a birthday with the person, I think it's James Thorpe, Sandra Locke, Gladys Knight, and
what a doll she
is. We had on the show Jackie Stallone. And I think it's sort of funny because I keep wanting to get Jackie Stallone to meet Kelly because, one, I think Kelly would faint, and two, they're both Sagittariuses. and the thing is that, yeah, you told me one time, Sharon, Kelly told me one time, she was like, if you get Jackie Stallone on the show, I will faint. I will.
Yeah.
That's funny. That is funny. How long have you been studying this, Nathaniel?
Oh, my whole life, over 40 years.
Wow.
I mean,
it is astonishing because you have such a vast knowledge.
Even when I was a child, I asked, wow, when I was 10 years old, well, you're a Leo. Well, that's the lion. And I remember reading horoscopes. I go, what is all this? So they got that.
Well,
and,
isn't that funny how I always believe people are born to a calling, and if we listen, it finds us.
Yeah.
Because you have a great gift for this.
Yeah, I could go, I could go on. Like Liberace, he was born the day of outrageous flair.
Oh, how appropriate. He was a character, wasn't he?
Actually, it's funny because, like numerology it's funny. I when I was in college, I studied it so much that I just started memorizing like what certain things mean. And then what would happen is that they would so I was like walking by some body in a I was walking by this because the thing is I'm on the autistic spectrum. So for me, memorizing numbers is easy. So, or at least not easy, but it's easier. So people would give me their birthdays, and then I would tell them what the birthdays meant, and they would say what personal year they were and everything. But what was happening is that people would look at me and they'd be like, "Wait a minute, aren't you going to write anything down?" And I would no. And then everybody would start following me around.
My head.
What?
You said I already did write it down in my head,
Yeah, I would write it down. Everybody would follow me around. Okay, my birthday is January so-and-so. Oh, okay, yes. Well, you're in the number 6 year, which means, and then people would be like, how did you know that? And then, I mean, it got to a point where the only problem was once you convince one person, you have to convince two people. And then once you convince two people, you have to convince four people. Before you know it, you're surrounded by this crowd. And then it's been a while since I've done it, but I've been brushing up on it again.
Wow.
Yeah, but I think Nathaniel should be inspiration to do that again, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you hear? You probably didn't hear us last night, but we were so upset when you got disconnected. It was
I didn't know if I was on the air because I tried to call back and they said your show starts in 24 hours or something. So
oh no!
I go, what happened? And I think
it
cut me off because it was 6:30 rolled around or whatever the time your show ended. It just cuts off all the callers. Some people have like grace period. I don't know if they have paid for the Rolls Royce treatment over there at Blog Talk or what. If you whatever it is.
Yeah, I can
or if
that.
different shows do different things, they're set up. Or if you can set it up on the switchboard. Because I had
We
my
have-
back in 2012, so I never knowing how the switchboard works.
Oh, so you have a
And
show?
and here we are.
I had a show. I could do a show, but I mean, I've been a guest on a number of shows.
Oh, I
I'd love
believe
to have
it.
you guest
Well-
on ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow,
Absolutely.
can you imagine? That would be
Yeah.
amazing. Like to do like, if you wouldn't mind. I'm not gonna insinuate that you would just, yeah, come on down, do our charts, do
Yeah.
our, callers charts. But I mean, I don't want to like put you on the spot.
I
but
think
that's
Kelly, I
amazing.
think he does that on autopilot anyway.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
sounds like it.
Sometimes I ask people, for their birthdays, and they think it's a little weird, So it's good to talk amongst, astrological or, people that are a bit metaphysical
Yeah,
folk, rather
Oh.
than to bring people out that are just, from the
That's
normal,
funny
the regular
because
man spectrum,
I have taught metaphysics.
Oh yeah.
And
Ooh.
Dr. Joseph Murphy was one of my teachers.
Mhm.
And he was just a gift from God, in my life. And I always think that there must have been that moment where God said, "Okay, Karen, you're on your own now." He and my mother passed away within a minute and a half of each other, practically.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm deeply grateful because I've never had a day alone in my life, and I think to myself, I wouldn't trade those lessons for anything. And to find like-minded people is such a gift. And we all recognized you last night when you called in, Nathaniel.
Well, thank you. It's good to be amongst your own,
Isn't that the
Yeah.
truth? Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
And you're in
So-
California, huh?
I'm in West Sacramento, Northern California right now, and I really like Southern California better.
Yep. Well, you have 2 out of the 4 of us there.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm in the Valley.
Oh, so you're in like Simi Valley, or?
No, San Fernando Valley, Sherman Oaks.
Oh, okay.
And
Did you, by chance, subscribe to our YouTube channel? Did you go on our page?
No, not me. No, I don't think I.
but you never know. And when it comes down to Southern California, you never know what can happen.
Yeah, I kind of, there's the river here. Crime seems to be a lot more prevalent, believe it or not. I mean, you think there's
Isn't
crime
that
here,
sad?
their crime is here. I guess they shot the librarian today over in Auburn Hills or Auburn.
Oh my
And
God!
last year, I know they shot it was actually a stabbing, I think. And then last year,
Yikes.
another homeless guy stabbed the librarian over at the north of Thomas. And I've
Oh my
seen so
God.
much crime. There was a vacant building, and an electrician must have done a professional hit because he stole the whole electrical room. He got the
you
whole
joking?
thing out, and no, and they carried one thing out on like a gurney. Instead of taking everything out, they just undid the whole panel and took the whole 8-foot thing out, 8x2
Yikes!
thing out, and must have put it in the van or something. And so they stole the whole electrical room.
What in
So
the
that
world
must have
is
been,
wrong with
that
people?
must have been like $50,000 or $100,000. And my roommate, they broke into his car and busted his window, and then got stuff in. And there's a lot of violence and stuff. I see so much stuff, and I go, wow,
Man, that's sad.
And then the
Yeah.
river here. Downtown, it has a lot of, by the Capitol building, they have a lot of one-way streets. So if you don't know how to drive it, you come down and
Good luck with that. Yeah.
You start going down a wrong-way street.
Oh boy.
And then they have the cable car coming down the street too. So you could be, parked or something, I mean, and you could get hit by the cable car, so you really got to get accustomed to it. And, there's all
Boy, that
kinds
does
of
make
homeless,
here sound like a cakewalk.
And then you have the river. And this time of year, that really activates mosquitoes, in the river.
Oh, yes.
And, if there's a big earthquake, we're all going to be stuck because no one's going to be able to get across the river, trucks or something, like that. I mean, it's going to be hard enough to get around and stuff. So, and somebody, I don't know if you've seen the new map of North America on YouTube.
Absolutely.
And, if that happens and, and something like that happens,
Oops.
boy, and the polar axis shifts and everything that supposedly I was looking, because I'm born the day of ironic insight. And, I'm always looking at.
I love that.
I'm always looking at things. There was there's actually a big landmass as big as the United States that Hawaii and Fuji are actually, those are just the tops of the mountains sticking up.
Oh.
So all that water's under land now. I mean, underneath, So just Hawaii was the largest mountain in the world. I think it was like 33 or 30,000 feet, but now it's all covered in water. And from there, way over to Fuji, that's the same landmass that was above water at one time.
Holy cow.
And there's another place over by Australia. There's another thing that was, that went underwater, and they say they think that was Atlantis.
Oh.
So, I mean, and there's so many other things and stuff that, who knows what's going to go on,
Isn't that the truth?
Wow.
But you can't really let it go. I've watched Ancient Aliens a lot, and they have all the, all those statues, and Easter Island. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
There's over like 1,000 of those critters above. They ran out of food there, and they had to eat rats. There was like 26,000 people. And they actually ate some kind of rats, because they didn't have any food fast. And they actually resorted to cannibalism because they started eating each other.
Yikes.
And there was 2,000 showed up. So I don't know. They all disappeared. I don't know if they all decided to, something, or if they found out. Because like Stonehenge, they say that Stonehenge, the people who built Stonehenge and Merlin was known to actually elevate the rocks and move them 120 miles over to Stonehenge because he elevated them, and I guess they pushed them because the rocks were in that area, and Stonehenge was a lot bigger, and they used that like on the vortex to actually go back to another galaxy or another planet somewhere. And so the people who built Stonehenge actually aren't here anymore. So a lot of people don't, some of the people probably didn't know that. But Stonehenge used to be a lot bigger. The whole thing, it's only about 20-25% of it's left standing now. But they had more, and I guess it was a thing of the universe. And it resembled the universe somehow. And, each of the things like represented the Earth, and they have the other one like Jupiter and stuff. Then they have the other things, and somehow it created some vortex that they, I know it's pretty hard to expand, but I know that Merlin was hired or, persuaded to move the rocks somehow. Because those weighed a lot.
I actually ran into a guy online that said he was the reincarnation of Merlin. And, and I what he did, I realized that if he's the reincarnation of Merlin, then he must know King Arthur. And if he knows King Arthur, it made me think of Monty Python. And when made me think of Monty Python, it made me think of the argument that King Arthur got into with the villagers over how the Lady of the Lake could, give him a sword. And so I asked him. I said, well, being a Merlin, I said this question for: do you think that strange women laying in pawns, distributing swords to people, is a valid formation system of government? Did you ever see Monty Python?
Oh yeah,
My favorite. Those great
Yeah.
stages, Monty Python. I love it.
Yeah, so
I love it.
So many things, and I guess aliens have been living in Antarctica for many, many thousands of years.
Absolutely.
And
Every
you
time
already
someone
know that.
says they don't believe them in them, I just start laughing.
People, you tell a regular man that, and they just laugh at you and think, there's all kinds of evidence. I guess the Nazis in World War II flew over, and some other guy looked inside and they saw a city, and there's all kinds of places to go inside, and the UFO saucers go right in and level out in some of the caves.
I want to
seem
tell
to flow.
Can I tell you what I think is probably the best evidence of aliens that I've ever seen? This is interesting. I cannot figure this out. I don't know. I don't know how old you are, but I do know that in the year 1972, in the year 1972, they sent these things into space of like record players of recordings of animals and recordings of Hello from Earth and everything. And the thing is that the people who were doing this was people like Carl Sagan was one of the people that was involved. And I got to thinking, science doesn't have time to waste. So it's not like you can say that Carl Sagan is a parapsychologist. So my question is, why did they do that? I mean, if they don't think there's anything there, if you don't think there's any alien life in outer space, don't waste your time doing that. You're looking stupid. It'd be like looking for Noah's Ark. You understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying, but I also think that sometimes when they can't explain what they don't know or they don't understand themselves, it's easier to it's easier to deny it's real.
Well,
and then they don't have to explain that.
It'll drive them crazy. They'll leave them in
Isn't that the truth? Absolutely.
And I watched some of the UFO things on the History Channel last week, and they had all these big saucers. No telling how they do things. I guess they have this. I guess they're scared of salt. They don't eat salt or something because because they're kryptonite or something. But
well, when we get a chance, we'll ask them.
They had these things. I guess it was like 1962 or something. A saucer. This guy was saying. He said, I think he made a thing about 5 years later. He said it. He goes, these guys. They landed, and then they took a couple minutes, and they had. He said he gave them some water or something, and they left like one of these like pretzel things, and it didn't have any salt in it. They were thinking it was the same thing that the Egyptians or the Israelites ate in the desert when they crossed the desert, because they had that manna machine, that made the stuff because they didn't have any food out there. And but anyways, they had this like really, this really pretzel that tasted like cardboard or something. They showed a picture of it, and it was more of like a little flake with a lot of holes in it. So.
Well, I have a story to tell you. You guys, I've told all you guys this story, but one day there was, I think it was either Staples or Office Depot on Wilshire Boulevard. They were having a big sale on like computer paper. So, and I also needed a new printer. So I saw this sale, and I said, "Come on, let's go shopping." And we go, and the door opens up. We park in the back, and the door opens up, and there's one only there's one guy in the store behind the register in a company shirt, and he turns around and he looks at me, and he has no irises, no whites, only the iris. He has these gigantic brown orbs. Okay? And he comes from behind the counter, and he just looks at me and leads us to the paper aisle, all the way on the left of the store. Okay? And he stands there. Not one word did he say. He stands there, and I'm thinking to myself, well, that's interesting, you know. He looks at me when I'm done picking out the paper, and he takes us all the way to the other side of the store where the printers are, and looks at me and turns around and walks away. When I tell you, not one word came from his mouth.
Well, were his eyes like double size? Were they really big,
yes.
or they just didn't have any whites in them?
Oh no, they were
double, triple.
Yeah.
Triple.
Yeah.
Triple size?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
I know that there's tattoo people, you know, and the piercing people. They're actually tattooing their eyeballs. So you don't have
no, honey. This was not. Trust me, there was none of this.
His eyes were bigger than eggs.
Yes, and he did not say one word. Not one word. He didn't ask, "May I help you?" He didn't say, "Is there anything else?" Nothing. Not one word. And we get in the car, and be careful, okay? Okay. Yeah, Mark's leaving. And he says, we get in the car, and he looks absolutely stunned. And he says to me, what was that? Because I had the conversation with him about him, of course, not believing in anything, so I was the crazy one that there is no such thing as aliens, and I just started laughing. And my ex-father-in-law was a rocket scientist, okay? And I'd had the same conversation with him, and he said to me, "How come they've never contacted us?" And I said, "How do you know that?" He said, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Maybe they're on a different frequency than we are." So we get in and my ex-father-in-law looked at me and went, "Wow, how did I never think of that?" And I said, "Well, I understand why you didn't." So we get in the car, and my ex says to me, what was that?" And I said, "You have just met one." He said, "What?" And he literally leapt out of the car and ran back to the back door of the store. And the door opened up, and our lovely friend was there looking at him.
Wow.
And he came back to the car. He said to me, I didn't even know what to say. And I said, "I understand." I said, "What is the problem, dear? You think we're here alone?" And it is, so they have always been here. They were here before we were. And their ability to I want to say travel, is something that man, unfortunately, is not, we have not evolved enough to understand. You know what I mean, Mr. Nathaniel?
Yes, actually, that's my whole point about some of these things. Our mind is only so small. I mean,
so
compared
true.
to because they say the angels, they could look at all the people on the earth, which is 7 billion people, or 7.5 billion, maybe 8 billion, and not
Isn't
be
that
straight
scary?
and look at everyone at the same time.
Yep, I believe
And
that.
somebody said there's like one angel on one side of the earth, and then there's another angel on the other side of the earth, and they're both looking at everything everyone does and recording it.
Yes, and they know our
Writing it down.
intentions. Yep,
Yeah.
they know the
And just
true
to think about it.
intentions.
Well, I think we're about out of time, but I'm sorry.
Nathaniel, will you do me a favor? Will you get in touch with me through my website?
If you want to call me on my phone number, that might be better. If you just have my phone number, can you just call me?
Sure. Let me get it.
Hear about that.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Thank you. What is that?
It's going to be
I'm ready.
951. Do you have it there?
Yep, 951.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
Do you want the rest?
What's
Okay,
On the air.
Yeah, I'm psychic,
You
but
have it?
I don't, not connected to the phone company. Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
That's 207.
that was good.
207.
Uh-huh.
207 3523.
951-207-3523.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I'm going to be in touch.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You
All
are
right.
just a
Kelly.
gift.
Yeah,
All
for
Thank
sure.
you.
Yeah,
So,
thank
It's
you.
Kelly, you
with
want
more
to shout
like-minded
out?
people. It's hard to, you
Sure.
talk to some people about this, and they think I'm an alien or something.
Oh, hello. You mean we're not?
Yeah, well, I guess, we're just a different kind, because some people, there's
Well,
all,
see, I think
guess
we're all the normal ones, whatever normal means.
Yeah,
Right?
well, it's just weird where, there's so many different kinds of people, I mean,
You know what? And
There's-
thank God. And do we learn
Yeah.
anything from it? I hope so.
yeah.
Yeah,
I hope
we're all
so.
the same.
Yes,
Yeah.
we do.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Jonathan, Nathaniel, I'm going to call you.
All right.
Good. We'd like to have him back. He's awesome.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Hey,
you ready
well,
to
it
do
was
the
nice
shout out,
talking to
Kelly?
you, and,
Thanks, everybody.
What?
Okay.
Until next time.
Hold on 1 second. What did you say, Nathaniel?
well, it was nice talking to you all, and have a good night. I guess this is
You
goodbye.
too.
Thanks
We're
for
so
calling.
glad
you.
you called back.
Yeah, you
That's
should have heard us last night. We were like, no.
Yeah, I didn't know what happened, and I just know that Blog Talk Radio, some people, some shows go on for 15 minutes. I know they can extend the show. I think it's there on your switchboard. If you know how to extend the show, you can extend it.
Not a clue.
Yeah, so if you who's ever got the switchboard over there.
We leave it to the
I do
expert,
see it
Mr. Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to.
If you can
do it
extend the
before
show.
But I don't
Some
think you
people,
can do it
some
during
people
the
have
show.
done it. Some people have done it mid-show, or something. They go, "Well, let me extend the show," and
That's
I've heard
hilarious.
people do that.
I thought that we
Yeah.
do that.
That's hilarious.
I thought that we do that, Johnny. I mean, Johnny knows how to do that, and we do that.
Sort of. I mean, it's it's sort of like.
Jonathan is our technical expert on the show.
Yeah.
Nathaniel.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, if you waited for me to figure that out, it would be a really long time. So I'm so grateful that he knows it. Jonathan's the one that started Life, Laughter, Happiness.
Yeah. And got all of us
he
together.
found all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So he's the expert, Nathaniel.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you on the rebound.
You got
Okay.
it.
Okay, thank
We
you.
will talk soon.
Goodbye.
All right,
Yeah.
now,
Bye-bye.
Kelly, goodbye. Kelly, do you want to do the shout out now?
Yes, sir. Okay. For all of our listeners, we would really appreciate if you would look up this show and any of our other 260 plus titles with all different kinds of topics, ranging from our funny moments to our more serious times, on our YouTube channel. So if you can like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And we are also found on Twitter, and we are found on Instagram, and of course Facebook, where you can find our Facebook page and you can get our updates. And of course we have our website where we are constantly updating at www.lifelaughterhappiness.com, where you can sign up for a newsletter and leave your comments on how you like our show, what you'd like to see more of, and maybe topics that you'd like us to cover. And you can also write into us, and we would love to hear from you and maybe even have you on our show. So you can call into our show 7 days a week because we are always here for you. And tomorrow we will be back because we are having Psychic Thursdays with Karen Page. And we are on at the regular time every day. And you can find Karen Page anytime at KarenPage.com.
That's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good night, everyone. Good night, Karen.
Good night,
Kelly.
guys.
Good night, everybody. I love you guys. And
Love
talk to
you.
you tomorrow.
Good night. We'll